Alright, quick update on basic attention tokens. So if we start off with the smaller time frames, start with the 1 hour and then we'll hop onto the 4 hour. You can see we talked about previously in our last video, I said, the best thing that we could do in the short term is come down just before we hit this 200-day moving average here. And then, this would give us a little bit of time to reset the RSI and the money flow indicator. And that's pretty much exactly what we've done. We've got a nice kind of W pattern playing out right now on both the hourly and the 4 hourly. Obviously, this is not fully complete. It would be nice to bottom somewhere around about this region in the vicinity of 80 cent, where we've already kind of come around. Any lower than 80 cent, if we bring it down to 80, yeah, it would get really ugly if we just even briefly went below 80 cents. So I would be looking for this low to hold if you are expecting another big move up in the short term. But in general, the hourly and the 4 hourly RSI and MFI have reset very nicely, so this W pattern potentially breaking out is definitely something we can keep our eyes on. This would easily push us back up to the 92 cent or anywhere in the vicinity of the 92 cent region up here to probably the $1, which is a psychological level rather than a fib. So the lower time frames are showing that we definitely do have enough momentum to come up and fill this target up here at 92, the target that we've had our eyes on since all the way down here on the 15th. Now, if we do come over to the daily and see what's going on in a more macro time frame, you can see we are getting a little bit of selling volume coming in, and the RSI and the MFI aren't resetting too much right now. So while we do still have a little bit of room to the upside, I think if we started heading up in the next day or so, this 90 cent in my opinion would probably be a short-term top area that I would personally be looking at taking profits. Now, what I'm looking for in the long term is definitely a move back above this 200-day moving average. I think that looks extremely bullish if we do zoom out, look at the macro term. We have been riding these two trend lines for quite a while now, so this was previous resistance all the way back here, and once we flip these two trend lines as support around about this region, we have just been on a massive tear up. So in the macro term, there's really nothing to worry about. BAT is extremely bullish, and even if we did see a short-term pullback right now, even all the way down to like 74 cent, that could be, in my opinion, probably the best scenario to keep an eye out for. If we did come down, to 74 cent, that would only be somewhat like a, an 8.5% drop, but this would give the RSI and the MFI quite a lot of room to, start riding up once we do start picking back bullish momentum. So why I say this is the most bullish scenario is if we do come down to the 618 down here, you could see something like this where we have enough room to finally push back above, and then during the next correction, we might see something like this where we are now finally above the 200-day moving average. Obviously, this is just a rough draft, but in the short term, this correction for me is not enough for me to start dollar cost averaging. And again, what I'd like to see is a retest of the 618 here, which doesn't necessarily have to happen. We are basically going up in a straight line, so I wouldn't even say it is fully likely that we could be coming down to the 618, but this is the region we want to hold. As long as we hold 74 cent, BAT will still be extremely bullish for another pushback up, and we still do have our eyes on 92 cent as my personal take profit region, but that will change. My take profit region will change if we do drop below and we do retest the 618 at 74 cent, because I think if we come down, like I said, come down another 8-9%, this will give the RSI and the MFI a little bit of room to breathe. So when we do have our next uptrend, we can really start pushing above this 200-day, and then after we have our next correction from there, if we are using this 200-day as support, we'd be above the 618 and the 200-day. So I've highlighted before what normally happens when BAT sustains an uptrend on the 200-day. We go absolutely parabolic. When we do lose it, we start falling off the table. You can see here we gained the 200-day. It went on a massive rally, setting new all-time highs. So 200-day, at 92 cent is the #1 region to keep your eyes on, in my opinion. But it is looking more and more likely like we are going to be coming down to these, somewhere around about these levels. So not 100% confirmed. But I personally would be looking for around about the 74 cent region to be filled, and then to have a slight push up. Once we do something like that, I'd be very happy to enter another short-term position just like we did down here on basic attention token. So that is all I see for BAT. Once again, if you are holding it, best of luck. None of this is financial advice, it's just my own opinion on the market. And yeah, cowboy out. Peace.